Hello everyone, my name is Maya and I'm a media student here at Bethany Global University, and today I'm going to be interviewing one of our students who's intern in France. And so far she's not here yet, and also if you have any questions or comments, please let us know and we will love to answer them. And yeah so it is our 16 months program. It's really wonderful, and we go to different locations. It is a fun place to go and enjoy. Got do work. Got to work there, and yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And let's see if Grace is here yet. Nope, she's not here yet. Well, there she is. All right. Hello, Grace.
Hey, sorry. The video was struggling.
I'm glad you're here.
Me too. I'm happy to be here.
All right. So Grace, tell us about what you're doing and where you are, and just give us some information about you.
So I'm an intern in Montenegro in the city of Nikšić. And we came in November. So this is like 3.5 months in.
Wow, that's awesome. Did you try any snails? I know there's a thing there.
Oh, I haven't gotten to try any snails here, but yeah.
Okay. Do you try any other food, and how are you adjusting to the food there?
The food is really good.
Okay.
They have a lot of more bland stuff though, because just the culture here is like more on sustained living, so like lots of cabbage and potatoes. But it's definitely really good. I think, I don't know, one of the weirdest things we've had, ooh, I don't know. One time they like make this meatloaf and they put boiled eggs like all throughout, and it's
Oh,
interesting.
is
Yeah.
it good or?
Yeah, it was like really tasty, but it was really weird.
I bet. That sounds awesome. Also, as you mentioned, there's a lot of plants. So are they, most of the people there farmers or?
So like everyone has a garden in their backyard.
Oh,
And there's this special type of cabbage that actually grows through the winter. So like right now, if you go outside, you see like these cabbage, like kale plants everywhere. So
wow. That's really,
yeah.
what does it look like there? And
Like the weather,
yeah, yeah.
or yeah, so it's kind of similar to the Midwest. Like we have all the seasons. And so we have snow, lots of rain right now. But sun is coming. Woohoo!
Yeah.
And it's so pretty. Like we are surrounded by mountains. Like all of Montenegro is just mountains. And so yeah, we get to look out our window and see it. We live on the side of a mountain where there's a huge like forest, and so we can go walk in the forest if we want. So
Okay. That is really that's really awesome. That is so fun. I mean, especially in the mountainside. That'll be a good, beautiful view, I bet.
yeah, for sure. It's so nice.
Yeah. So do you guys take a lot of walks and stuff during the day? And
Yeah, we do. That's actually how we get places most of the time. Like you can probably get to the farthest part of town in a 40-minute walk. And so we walk to the grocery store and church and our friend's house and the coffee shops. So we only take a taxi if we need to go fast.
oh, okay. So how are the coffee shop there? Like, are they different from here or like?
Yeah, well, the first thing you have to imagine is you're walking, right? And there's not just one coffee shop, there's like 20 because everyone goes to coffee shops. And they, like, when we first came, it was still warm. And so everyone was sitting outside, like on all the chairs. And you just drink your coffee. And it's so common to have like 1, 2, 3 coffees with different people throughout the day. And you go for like an hour or two. and their coffee is Turkish coffee, and so it's like boiled, and so I don't know if you've ever had it, but they like boil it, and so the grounds and sugar is like all at the bottom, so you have to be careful because if you
Mm.
like chug it, then it like you just get all the nasty stuff. So you just sip it, and yeah, it's just little cups. So
Wow. Also, did you meet a lot of people there?
yes, so many people. And once you meet somebody, you're just like, hey, you want to go get coffee? So yeah, it's been really cool to have that opportunity. And thankfully, COVID so far hasn't hindered a lot of that, because coffee shops have been open for most of the time. But just this week, they all shut down. So yeah, it'll be a little bit different now, but it's been good.
All right, talking about COVID, tell us about COVID. How was COVID?
Um, it's definitely, I don't know, kind of different than America because like the very first week we came, um, we were told, yeah, well, like the high the a high bishop died, and so we are like, okay, but their Orthodox tradition is to like go and see him and like kiss the body to respect him. Except that meant like hundreds of people were kissing the this guy who died from COVID. And so like then everybody everywhere started getting COVID. And so then everything was like shutting down and we're like, oh my goodness. So that was exciting.
Mm,
Um, and we're all supposed to wear masks, but I don't know, probably half the people on the street don't wear them.
mm,
Um, and you know, like sometimes you just people just pull up their shirt if they go in somewhere.
yeah.
Um, yeah. So it's like some people are really worried about it,
Mm,
but some people don't really think it's real. So
mm, okay. So it did that actually um did any like that actually hit any of your ministry, or did that like
mm,
how it was
yeah. So
this?
it means that for a little while, all of our Bible studies were on Zoom.
Mm,
So we would have a Tuesday night Bible study, a Wednesday night Bible study, Thursday night prayer, Sunday church, like all of it was on Zoom, which was really sad because you're like, man, I'm here and I only had like 2 weeks of freedom and then everything shut down, like, but it was still good, because we could go on walks with people and we could eat at restaurants, like restaurants weren't closed at the time. So that really helped. And now things, well, they were open for like a month, so we'll see what happens now. But
okay.
yeah.
Okay. So Grace, tell us a little bit more about your ministry.
Yeah, so ministry just started like this month because we came like 2 months late, and so our language intensive lasted longer than usual. So we had 15 hours of language, and now we just have 3 hours a week, which means we have a lot more free time. And it's interesting because here at our site, like we don't have specific ministries. Like, okay, 3 hours, you're gonna go serve in an orphanage. Like that, we don't have that. Whereas ministry is just living life with the people here and building relationship with them. So like if you go to a coffee shop with this friend you met at Tango, then you develop that so that you can just share Christ with them.
Mhm.
Or our site leaders have a huge library that they want to use for the community
Mm.
and the church, but like it's totally disorganized, and so like we get the chance to organize it. And so random things that you wouldn't think, oh yeah, wow, in Montenegro you're serving the Lord, like, but I don't know. I've come to realize that ministry can take a lot of different shapes and sizes,
Mm.
whether that's washing dishes for like somebody in your church who has 3 kids and just like hectic life, like, just you're there to help. So
Wow. Okay. As you mentioned language, and how are you learning the language? Is it difficult or? How are you going?
That. Yeah, would you like me to say a few sentences? I could practice.
I mean, everybody loves to hear it. Yeah.
Okay, well, ja sam grazie i ja sam Amerikanka. Imam 20 godina i moja država je Kansas i moje drugarice su super. And so it's okay. Like I'm learning language. I can introduce myself.
Honestly, I can't even tell. I feel like you're from France, honestly. Yeah, it's wonderful.
Well, so fun fact is Montenegro. I didn't actually know where it was, and so everyone would ask like, "Oh, you're going to Montenegro?" And I asked, and I was like, "Where's Montenegro, Bethany Global University? Because I don't even know, and you're sending me there." And they were like, "Oh, well, it's next to Serbia," and I was like, "Oh." I thought Monte Carlo, like in France. And so Montenegro is actually a little country next to Serbia and Bosnia and Herzegovina. And it's like the size of Connecticut. And it's a really small little country. Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, so it actually has its own language officially, which is called Sonogorski. But it's understood by Serbians, Bosnians and Herzegovinians, and Croatians. And so if I learn this language, I can speak like in all four of those countries.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you say you know a little bit of French, right?
I don't. That was Sonogorski, what I was speaking.
Okay. Oh, that
Yeah.
is okay. Okay.
Yeah. So it's good, but it has a lot of different, like hard parts. They have something called potagy, which is cases,
Mm,
and it's like how you end a word. So coffee, right? You just say coffee in America. But here, like it's kaffa or kafu or cafe or coffee or kafo, depending on how much of it and if it's on a table or if you are like giving it to someone or if it's in something or if it's with something and you change the word. And so you have to like learn that for every single word and how it would change. So, yeah.
Um, okay, we have a question from the audience. They were asking actually, what state are you guys from?
Oh, my team?
Yep.
Okay, well, I'm from Kansas. Woohoo! And Kara is from Michigan. And Joelle is from Canada.
Wow.
And Rebecca is from Iowa.
Okay. All right. Grace, would you tell us about a little bit more about the culture there? Like, what are one of the like fascinating things that you expect, or you know?
I would love to. So first, the people here are very Orthodox. So like it's kind of the culture where you're born into Orthodoxy. If your parents were Orthodox, you're Orthodox. There's the churches around. Sometimes you can hear the bells like ringing on Sunday morning, and people, yeah, really like take it seriously, as in like, oh yeah, that's like part of their identity, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not something they often practice. It's just like who they are. Like if you ask them, like, oh yeah, I'm Orthodox. Um, and so that's something that really impacts their culture and how they think. And I think that also affects, like, they're very hospitable because, in the Bible, people would entertain angels like unknown. And so like they want to be hospitable to everyone. And so I've loved learning that part of their culture and just seeing how they invite you in and they're like, here's some coffee, here's some juice, here's some water, here's some snacks. Do you want anything else? Are you sure you don't want more? You're like, oh my goodness, no, I'm fine, thank you. Yeah, so it's definitely been really sweet to have that. But then it's also like post, uh, like after Yugoslavia was the whole country in the past, and so they still have sections which were like communist blocks. Like we first landed in Podgorica, which is the main capital city, and our site leaders were like, "Oh, and that's the old communist block, and it's just like cement buildings." And I was like, "Wow, that looks straight out of my history book." Like, whoa. And so it's a weird mesh of like the old with all the new like modern technology coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool. Um, Also, what else did you learn while you were there? Like
Um, yeah,
language, like
definitely a lot. Would you want like what did I learn spiritually or culturally or in my team dynamics?
like homework, you know.
Okay, what did I learn in my homework? I think it was really cool how BGU does your homework with your internship because like we came and had ethnographic research and that really helped because we would be going through our books and it was like this is what different subjects are in a normal community. You have family and your jobs and you have relationships and all religion, all these things. And um, so then we would go out and like record like, oh, this is what we saw in our culture and this is what we did. And so you could be doing your homework, but it would be helping you think like, oh yeah, these people always wear slippers inside their house because that's like their culture and they really want to be healthy and so like you wear slippers in the house so your feet stay warm and you never go outside with your hair wet because that could make you like get a cold or get sick. And so things that in America are like, oh yeah, we just go outside with our hair wet, like you're in a hurry. Like no, never, like that would not be good here. And so learning those things and then being like, oh, okay, that doesn't mean it's bad, it's just different.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
How about spiritually?
Yeah, for me spiritually, I've been learning a lot through different things. I think one is being on a team, like all four of us girls live together, and so you are learning how to live with new people and live with how they grew up. Like,
Yeah.
oh, well, I do it this way. Like, oh, I do it this way. Well, my way is obviously the best, you know? um, but learning to lay that aside and being like, okay, Grace, this doesn't actually matter. Like, you can just do it. And so learning, I don't know, just selflessness more. And then something else is as I prepared for internship, I was like, okay, I've been overseas on a short-term trip multiple times. Like, I loved it. I thrived. Like, I know internship will be hard, but I mean, I don't think it'll be that hard. And then you come and you just like are overwhelmed with like everything. And I think for me, I started to realize just how I didn't measure up over and over. I would make a mistake here and I would be mean to a teammate and I would mess up this and I couldn't do this as much as I wanted and I couldn't study my language as much.
Mm.
And so just feeling like a failure
Yeah.
because I'm very like achievement oriented
Yeah.
and realizing like that's not what my identity is in. Like the Lord is the one I want to please and he is my identity and he changed me
Mm.
and I don't have to measure up to anything. And so internship really highlighted that because of all the stress and the emotions and everything that we had to do. So
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Amen. Amen. I want to ask you a question. Like how was the building up a relationship for you? Like around the culture. I mean, around the people there. Also, your roommates. You know. Would you please?
Yeah. Yeah. So for roommates, We live together, so that helps build relationship a lot. And we try to have like every meal together. So breakfast, we all eat at like 9 o'clock. We take turns making meals. So we eat lunch together, and then dinner is just like a light dinner. And so I think those meals together really help and really
Yeah.
just a good basis for us to laugh together about things that happened or to bring up something like, hey, this happened and I is that how we want to like do this in the future or should we change things? So really good time to touch base. And then for the culture, I think people here are just friendly. And so if you're doing something and they like you interact with them or you speak to them and they find out that you're American, like they'll start a conversation with you.
Mm.
And so I think that has helped. I am participate in different things, and so I've met like groups of people from those different things, and the church here. They have just been so welcoming. Shout out to Marina, and they just love us so well, and they've introduced us to a lot of people, and so yeah.
Mm. That's really wonderful. And how are the like churches there like compared to here?
Yeah, very different. Because there's, I don't know, probably 6 or 7 evangelical churches in the whole country. And each church has, I don't know, like 15 people, maybe, if that. And so there's a lot less of evangelical believers. And so, yeah, so just getting used to like, I go to church in Kansas that has like 800 people. And so then coming here and there's only 10 is just a big difference. Um, but then, I mean, we have the same things of, worshiping the Lord and reading scripture and community, which is sweet. Because wherever you go over the world, like as the Church of Christ, you have that fellowship. And then there's just a lot of Orthodox churches as well. Wherever you go, you'll see an Orthodox church in the city. So
Mm.
that's pretty common.
Okay. Also, would you say was BGU was worth it and like going on an internship?
I would say yes and amen. I it definitely is. Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, Grace, why did you decide to do this? But I loved it. And I think BGU did a good job of preparing, both scholastically, like the classes were really good, digging in and preparing yourself, but also like all of the extracurricular things. I think like the busy schedule helps you prepare, and PT helps you prepare, and just because you have all those responsibilities, then when you get to internship, you're not overwhelmed by the fact that you have a lot of responsibilities because you pay rent and you cook food and you go shopping and you clean mold off of the walls and all of those things.
Mm.
So, yeah.
Um, let's see if we have any questions from the audience. Um, one of the audience asked you like, have you had any funny moments?
Funny moments. Yes. Okay. So, we were in Bar, which is a city that's on the coast close to us, and our team went for like 2 days to have vacation during Christmas. Because we had no homework and we were excited. And so we traveled there, right? We get into our Airbnb. It's nice. It's next to the ocean. Sad, I mean the sea, the Mediterranean. The sad thing is that it's raining most of the day. So we're like, oh, bummer. So the next day, we're like, okay, there's some sunshine. Let's go. We go to the old city. We like walk around for a few hours. It's beautiful. We're like, yes. It starts raining. We're like, okay, we need to get a taxi to go back to our house. And we're walking and we're like, oh no, we're in a new city and we don't have any taxi drivers' numbers. And so we're walking and I see a guy and I was like, hey, I was like, Dali is not the broiza taxo. And I was like, in my limited language, like, do you know a number for a taxi? And he's like, oh yeah, my friend's a taxi driver. So he like runs up to his apartment and like grabs his friend, and then we get in his taxi, and we're like, okay, we're gonna try our language for like kakuste, uh, siasunste, like the sun shining, how are you, all these things. And we're talking probably like 5, 10 minutes. I don't know. It's a good conversation. And there's like a lull in the conversation. And it's like, a normal car. The driver, Joe, is sitting up front, the three of us in the back. And all of a sudden, this boy sits up in the back of the seat and he says, hello. And then the driver says, Moisin. And that means my son. And he just was sitting in the back of the car the whole time. And he was just like laying down. And we were like, oh, what in the world? Why is there somebody in the back seat? Okay. And it was like so weird. And then, okay, so then this part is just funny because you know how in America, kids are always like, how old are you? And they're like, I'm 10 and a half. Like, oh, okay, so you're 10. No, I'm 10 and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking to this kid, and we're like, oh, koliko imash how many years do you have? And he says, David Ipo, like 9 and a half. And I was like, oh, David. And he's like, Ipo. And I was like, oh, okay, 9 and a half.
Yeah, so particular.
So that's the fun story. If you get in a taxi, watch out for the children in the back.
Wow, that is so funny though. Well, Grace, thank you so much for joining us today. It was such a wonderful time, and I wish you really well wish you best of luck for the rest of the internship.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And I'm sorry I was late because I couldn't figure out the video.
No,
Um,
totally okay. Yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All
Thank you.
right, bye.
Bye.
Well, that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it and learned a lot from it. And Grace did a wonderful job. And also, thank you so much for all the questions. Also, we're gonna be uploading more of these videos, and please make sure to tune into that and check it out. And I'm pretty sure it's a wonderful thing to experience and learn from it. So, yeah, thank you so much for once again for joining in. Yeah, from right now. Bye.